Hi, welcome to the first session of Seminole Patchwork with Paper. This is a redo of the actual class that I did yesterday, and the video didn't turn out. So this is the replacement video. So I'm just talking to myself, not to a class right now. And this is actually good because now I'm not quite as nervous. Okay, so this is how the sessions will go. They'll only be a half hour each. I'm going to start each session with talking a bit about the Seminole people, and then I'm going to teach whatever I want to for that day. Today, the emphasis will be on teaching a very simple pattern, but what I really want to get across is how to cut the paper and get set up and have the tools ready so that we can start making more complex patterns. I'm going to scaffold this instruction. We're going to learn something specific each week. So when we get to the more complex things, it will hopefully make sense. So the first thing I want to do is share my screen and talk about, let's see, here it is. We're going to talk about escuela. If you learn anything about the Seminole people, this name will keep coming up. There are hospitals, libraries, schools named after him. There's a county named after him. Lots of people share this last name. And here's the original Escuela. He was born in 1804 in what's now Alabama. His people were there for centuries, farming and living. And in 1814, they got very unceremoniously removed from their land. They escaped to North Florida. They lived there for a while in peace, and then they got forced into Central Florida, which is mostly swamp. Now, Escuela was a young man during the first two times when they got removed from the lands. By the time they were being pushed out of Central Florida, he took a stand. Now, he was someone who was one of the Indians that had a lot of contact with settlers and was generally on good terms with them. There was a lot of common ground, but Andrew Jackson decided as president that the Indians must leave. And the Escuela did not want to leave. A lot of Indians left. Most Indians left over the next many years. But he, in 1835, planned a couple of audacious attacks, and that started a 7-year war. The American troops. Now they were in Florida, but it was not yet Florida. It was American territory. Troops got sent down there, like many troops, like they were way outnumbered. They were way outgunned. There's huge amount of money spent on this war. And Escuela led his people into victory after victory, or at least not defeat. Time and time again, humiliated these generals over and over again. He ended up dying young, but about 2 years into the war, but the stage had been set. And there are still Seminoles in Florida. I think it has a lot to do with him. The other thing that I want to say that I think is so interesting about this is that he was well known, not just in his tribe, but throughout America and throughout the world. Much like the way people felt about slavery, not everybody was for slavery. There was a lot of people against slavery. We know this. We fought a war to get rid of it. There were also many people who were very much against the removal of Indians, and they applauded him taking a stand to stay. And when he died, the announcement of his death, from what I understand, was splashed across newspapers around the world. So yeah, he was an important player then, and because of him, I believe we are here now looking at these. Without him, I don't know if we would be here now looking at these beautiful types of designs that we're going to be making. Here's Larry Micasquela wearing a jacket with the Seminole designs on, and behind him, he's very proudly showing a quilt that he acquired for his collection of Seminole designs. And here's a beautiful piece at the Acatiki Seminole Indian Museum. So these things are made, they made quilts, they made clothing, they made things for dolls. Okay. Lots of other things. So here's what we're going to do. Let's see, I need to change to my other camera now. You're going to let me do this, right? Oh, okay. Bear with me for a second. There we go. Okay, so here's the tools we're going to need. We need a cutting blade, a straight edge, glue stick. You're also going to need a small brush and some PVA. I keep my PVA in these pill bottles because what I do is I'll take a little and put it into another one, and it'll be just enough so that I don't get too much glue on my brush. Let me see. Glue stick. Oh, you need scrap paper. You need, so just have some scrap paper around. You'll need my PDFs. If you're watching this video, below the video description, there'll be a link to the PDFs. If you're looking at my blog, it'll be in my blog, but you need these PDFs to do the way that I'm doing it. And we're going to use card weight paper. So here's my card weight paper. Today I'm going to be demonstrating with the purple and the blue, making my design. And the way that I'm going to do this, got my notes to make sure I do everything here. The hardest thing about this is to be accurate, and you really have to be very, very accurate. And I had a really hard time being accurate. So that's why I developed this system. What I'm going to do is take my PVA and just do one line of glue on the short side of the paper. Okay, there's just one line of glue there. And I'm going to then attach it to my purple paper. Okay. There we go. So it's open here, but it's not going anywhere. Now on here, there's a place where there's no lines. I'm going to cut that off and get rid of it, throw it away. I call each one of these spaces a unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units. We're going to make a strip that's 4 units wide. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this off, throw it away, get rid of it, throw it away. And then I'm going to make one 4 units wide. Now, lots of times, I did that in one fell swoop, but lots of times I usually like to say, press down hard with your fingers and go lightly with the cutting blade. That way, if you slip, you won't. It lessens the slippage. Okay, so now I've got one piece here, and I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. All I need is 2 strips. I'm not going to reuse this piece because I know I'm going to use purple for at other times. And so that is now my purple Seminole Patchwork with paper piece that I'm going to have. Okay. Same thing with the blue. I'm going to get rid of that top piece. Count down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my second piece. Now, got my 2 pieces. And now I need my number 2 PDF. It says 2 on it. See that? It says 2 on it. So we cut the strips, and we're putting the strips on number 2. These pieces now are just garbage. And get rid of those. Now what I'm going to do, some people don't like this, but I've decided, I've been sort of testing this out with people, but this is the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually cut these pieces in half. I could do this with the scissors. If I had my scissors handy, there it is. Because I'm going to use PVA to glue this down, and PVA dries pretty quickly, and this keeps me from having to work too quickly. Okay, you'll see what I'm doing. Now, if you're using a lightweight paper, or if you're using origami paper, or just anything lighter than this cardweight paper, you might want to use a glue stick for this step. I'd probably recommend it, but I like using the cardweight paper, and that's how I'm going to show you. Okay, so get some scrap paper here, and here's my glue and my glue stick, glue and my brush, I mean. And what I'm going to be doing, let me demonstrate it first, is I'm going to pick a line on here. I think I'm going to pick this line. And I'm going to line these up. Right? And I'll do it, if I line, let's see, and this will go here. It doesn't matter if these match in the center, but what it matters is it matches on this line. Okay? And then these will get glued right next to it. Okay? These can be touching or not. That part doesn't matter. And I think you'll understand that better as when you see me actually do it. Okay. My friend Susan always says to have a piece of damp paper towel around in case you get any on your fingers. It's a good idea. I always forget. There we go. Now, I got a little bit of glue there that I don't like, but I just won't use that piece, and you'll see. You've got a little bit of grace there where you're not, if you get glue here and there, it's probably fine. Trying to put it on nice and thin, because we all know that when you put PVA on, white glue on too thickly, things get gloppy and stuff, and we don't want things to get gloppy. Okay. It's nice to have a ball float around. found that when I did this with a glue stick, I don't know, just some places wouldn't stick as well. And you really, like I said, want every single bit of this to be glued down. Work quick and thin. Now, this is the only time that I'll be cutting these strips during the class time. In the future, I'm going to put it on the blog or in the video description. Well, it'll be listed somewhere that you're taking the class, you'll be following the blog, and I'll be telling you what strips to have available before the class. So we won't be cutting the strips in class. It'll be listed, and if you're watching this on YouTube in order, I'll also put it in the show notes at the bottom of the description section. Okay, what I'm doing here is I want each of these to be a square. What we're going for here is this pattern, right? And here's I handled it a little bit differently, but it's basically this pattern, okay? And so these need to be squares. These were 4 units wide. So now I'm going to cut them into 4 units again. I'm going to forget about, this is the part that I always forget about, actually. I'm also going to make a cut. I'm going to make cuts right here on the edges. Not the whole way. I don't want to cut the whole thing out. It's better to have things not cut out all the way. We need them to stay in place. So you see, I'm going to cut from here to here and then from here to here. And the way that I'm going to do that is take my knife, put it right up next to the piece of paper, and bring my straight edge over. I'm going to do that over here as well. Okay. Now again, I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm going to cut from here, nice and light. I don't have to cutting through just this very thin paper. This is 20-pound paper. It's just cheap copy paper. Here. Okay. And same thing on the other side. Line it up. Okay. There's a little part here that's not cut. Now, I'm going to cut, let's see, what did I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only need 8 units, and they're going to be 4 units wide. So 1, 2, better to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 8 for the design, but I'm only going to cut out 4 right now, and I'm going to start assembling them just to show you how it goes, and then you just continue to do the same thing. Then I'll end the video while you continue working. Okay. So again, make a few nice strong cuts. Now notice I'm not cutting the whole length of the paper. Just where I need it. So I can use this half of the paper for something else. Okay. And they're loose because I cut the other part earlier. Okay, now I need a piece of paper to put these on. And let's see. It is. Okay, what you probably want to do here, if you're putting it directly on this paper, is draw a very light line that you can work with. And what I'm hoping is that this piece of paper, you'll do a bunch of different kinds, of different, maybe different scales. Here's one that's really, really tiny. And use different colors, different units. And this piece of paper will be sort of like your sketch pad or your things that you refer back to. Now here, you could do this with your hands, in your hand or on scrap paper. I'm going to do it in my hand, and I'm going to put the first unit down. I think instead of putting it on the line, I'm going to line up my central where they meet in the center to the line. There we go. Now the way this is going to get glued down is I'll just take them and keep alternating the design and glue them down and until I've got as many as I want. Oh, what I did at this one is instead of I played around with not alternating and not, well, I changed it. You can see what I did. Okay, so you can play around with that sort of thing. But this is all that I'm doing now, and this is all that I'm teaching for this week. And next week, the emphasis is going to be on using 4 strips, 2 different sizes. But this week, we're just using 1 strip and 1 size. No, 2 strips and 1 size. Okay, so that's it. Bye now.